Imagine waking up and realizing one of your favorite childhood memories never actually happened. The birthday party, the smell of the cake, the way the light fell across the table. Every detail is sharp, emotional, undeniable, and yet no one else remembers it, because in this world it never took place. That's the kind of thing you can laugh off once, twice, maybe. But what if it kept going? New memories sliding into your mind that are just as solid as your real past. Streets you could navigate with your eyes closed. People you care about deeply. An entire hometown you could sketch from memory, and none of it exists on any map on Earth. Here's the part that's hard to shrug off. Doctors scan your brain, and the images say, "You're not making it up." These memories are structured like real experiences. They sit in your mind the same way your first day of school does, detailed, permanent, just foreign. It really makes you wonder what a self is. If you can wake up with another life nested inside your own, are you glitching, dreaming, or has someone found a way into your head? Tonight, that's the world you're stepping into. A calm future Earth, no disasters, no war. Just a strange new phenomenon. People quietly collecting memories from a parallel civilization as it dies. And at the center of it, there's one tired neurologist, Dr. Lila Chen, and one man, Marcus Hale, who remembers growing up in a city our satellites will never see. Let's slip into their night at the Hsu Institute for Memory and Consciousness and watch what happens when Marcus lies down in the scanner and begins to describe a place called Vaelus. Warm, safe. And yet, all across the planet, people start to wake up with memories that do not belong to them. They remember streets that do not exist on any map, homes they never lived in, birthdays with people they have never met, a sky with a different color at sunset, a moon that looks just a little wrong. At first, doctors think it is stress or new kinds of dreams, maybe even some new kind of illness. But then, the scans arrive. In smooth blue-lit clinics, machines read the shapes of thoughts. They turn the flow of a mind into bright moving images, and those images show something strange. These new memories are solid, detailed, and stable. They behave like real-life events. They sit in the brain as if they were always there, yet they do not match the person's real past. Bit by bit, scientists begin to see a picture. It is slow, careful work. No rush, no panic. Just steady, patient curiosity. They realize that these foreign memories are not mistakes. They are visitors, tiny, carried pieces of another world's. People, tonight, you will float beside a woman who studies these memories. Her name is Dr. Lila Chen. You will move with her through a quiet night in a memory clinic, where lights are soft and machines hum like a distant lullaby. You will meet Marcus Hale, who remembers a whole life in a city our Earth has never known. And you will watch, gently, as humans take their first calm steps into becoming something new. A place where more than one history can rest inside a single mind. So let your body relax. Let your breathing slow. You do not need to solve anything. Just listen and drift, and let this future world carry you like a small boat on a very still sea. We will begin with the first borrowed life. The city outside is almost silent. It is late, deep into the night, but the tall towers still glow with soft light. Their edges are smooth and pale, shining gently against the dark sky. High above, thin aircraft slide slowly between buildings. They move without noise, like sleepy fish in a black ocean. Down at street level, the air is cool and clean. The sidewalks are almost empty. Now and then, a small service drone glides past, its tiny white lights drifting close to the ground as it checks sensors and cleans corners. No one notices. In the middle of this quiet city stands a building made of glass and pale stone. Its windows glow a calm blue. This is the Hsu Institute for Memory and Consciousness. It is open all day and all night, but it never feels busy. Machines do most of the fast work. People move slowly here. Inside, the halls are wide and peaceful. The floor is smooth and warm underfoot. The lights shift in gentle shades of blue and gold, like the sky just before sunrise. On some walls, screens show soft images of trees and rivers. In other places, live plants rise from long planters, their leaves holding tiny drops of water that catch the light. You move along one of these halls, not as a body, but as a quiet presence. You simply float, steady and calm, as if your awareness is resting on a slow current. Ahead of you, a door slides open with a faint hiss. Dr. Lila Chen steps out. She is in her late 30s, with straight black hair tied back into a low knot. Her face is calm, with fine lines at the corners of her eyes that come from years of careful focus and soft smiles. Her lab coat is a light gray, almost silver, and it carries a small badge near the collar with her name and title: Neural Reconstruction Specialist. In her right hand, she holds a thin tablet with a clear surface. Faint lines float just under the glass, like tiny stars waiting to form shapes. Lila pauses in the hall and closes her eyes for a moment. She takes a long, slow breath. You can almost feel the air pass in and out of her chest, steady and deep, like the tide in a sheltered bay. It is the last hour of her shift. Most of the clinic is quiet. The night team moves in the background, adjusting machines and watching patient data. There are no raised voices here, no rushing feet, no bright alarms. Even problems, when they come, are met with stillness first. Lila opens her eyes again and checks the time in the corner of her tablet. After this, she says softly, to herself more than anyone, "We go home." She turns and walks down the hall, and you drift with her just over her shoulder, as if you are the calm in the air around her. On the walls beside you, soft text glows. Neural imaging suit be overnight observation unit. Quiet zones please keep voice. Low Lila does not need the signs. She knows this building like the map of her own memories. She has spent years here, using careful machines to watch how memories form, vanish, and return. She has seen people recover lost childhood days that were buried under trauma. She has seen patients with broken speech bring back moments in bright detail after seeing a single image or hearing a certain sound. She has watched thought turn into color and shape on giant displays, and always under all this work she has carried the same quiet wish: to protect the human mind, to understand what it means to remember, to make sure that what people hold inside is safe. Her steps are soft. Her shoes make almost no sound on the floor. As she walks, a calm voice speaks from the ceiling. "Dr. Chen," it says with a gentle, gender-neutral tone. "Your next intake has arrived. Marcus Hale, scheduled for preliminary evaluation and neural imaging. Room 6. Thank you, Iris." Lila replies. Iris is the building's central system. It watches sensors, manages records, and speaks only when needed. Its voice is always low and soothing, like a friend who has seen you tired many times before. "Any new notes?" Lila asks. "Patient reports extended memory events beginning 7 months ago," Iris says. "Content describes locations not recognized in the global registry. Initial cognitive screening suggests no decay in baseline identity markers, no substance use concerns, no signs of acute mental health crisis." Lila nods slowly. These are the new type of cases she has been seeing more often in the past year. People who walk in and say, "I remember something that never happened." Not just random images or strange dreams, full days. At first, the clinic had flagged them as possible cases of false memory syndrome or rare types of psychosis, but the neural scans had not matched those explanations. Instead, the scans had shown something clear and strange. Stable memory structures settled in the brain like real history. She reaches room 6. The door glows green at the edges, then slides open. Inside, the room is simple and comfortable. A reclining chair sits in the center, with soft white cushions and an adjustable headrest. Curved screens arch overhead, dark for now. The lights are low, with a warm tone that makes the space feel more like a living room than a lab. A man sits on the edge of the chair, leaning forward with his hands linked together. This is Marcus Hale. He looks up as Lila enters. He is in his early 40s, with medium brown skin and short curls that are starting to gray at the temples. There is a tired kindness in his face, and also a steady worry, as if he has been holding an invisible weight for a long time. "Mr. Siggs Hale," Lila says, her voice soft. Dr. Chen. You can call me Lila, if that's easier." He lets out a breath he did not realize he was holding. "Lila is fine," he says. You move closer, settling in the calm space between them, as if you are the stillness that lets them think clearly. Lila sits across from him in a low chair and places her tablet on the small table between them. She does not start typing yet. She looks at him first, making eye contact. She lets a few seconds pass. How are you feeling right now? She asks. Marcus looks down at his hands, then back up. Tired, he says, but relieved to be here. No rush, Lila says. We have time. His shoulders drop a little. Iris speaks again softly from a speaker near the ceiling. Consent for recording has been received and logged. Would you like me to begin audio transcription? Dr. Centric here. Chen, yes. Iris, Lila says, begin. A small, gentle tone sounds. Then there is silence again. Lila folds her hands. Marcus, I've read the brief report you sent before your visit. She says, you said you remember an entire childhood in a city that doesn't exist. Is that right? He lets out a short, breathy laugh. There is no humor in it, just disbelief. Yes, he says, that's the simple version. Tell me the longer version, Lila says. Start wherever feels natural. Marcus looks past her at the blank screen above the chair. His eyes are far away for a moment. Then he speaks. It started small, he says. About 7 months ago, I woke up one morning with this clear image in my head. I was standing on a balcony, looking out over a bay. The water was different, darker, toast line curved in a way I didn't recognize. There were towers, but not like here. They had these, it's hard to say, these open sides with moving panels like petals. He lifts his hands and shapes the air as he talks. I thought it was just a dream. He goes on. A very detailed dream. I went to work, had my day. But the image stayed. It didn't fade like dreams do. It felt like something I could step back into whenever I closed my eyes. Lila nods, slow and steady. Did you try to? I did, he says. That night, I lay in bed and slid back there. That's how it felt. Like my mind had a bookmark. I was back on that balcony. I could feel the metal under my hands, the wind. I could smell the ocean. It was all there, and I realized something that scared me. I knew whose balcony it was, he says. I knew my age, my address. I knew I had a physics test the next day. I knew my neighbor's dog's name. None of it matched my life, but it was as clear as if I had grown up there. His hands tremble. He tightens them together. What was the name of the city? Lila asks. He looks at her. Vaelus, he says. Spelled V-A-E-L-U-S. It's by the Sea of Glass. Lila taps the words into her tablet. Vaelus. Sea of Glass. These names, she says. You had never heard them before that morning. Not in any dream, he says. Not in a book. I checked. I searched every world map I could find, every travel database. I asked friends if they had heard the names. Nothing. It just doesn't exist here. He looks down again. Here, he repeats, like the word feels strange. Lila studies him for a moment. His pupils are steady. His breathing is controlled. He does not seem confused about where he is or who he is. Tell me about your real childhood, she says. The one in this world. He smiles a little. I grew up in a quiet district outside Montreal, he says. My parents worked in environmental planning. We lived in a mid-rise tower with a rooftop garden. I had a younger brother, Thomas. We fought about who used more sim time on the weekends. Normal stuff. Do those memories feel different from the ones in Vaelus? She asks. He thinks for a moment. No, he says, that's the problem. They both feel real. When I think about the Montreal Tower, I remember the smell of the basil we grew on the roof. When I think about Vaelus, I remember the way the harbor fog looked in the mornings. They both have the same weight. He presses his palms to his forehead. Sometimes I have to check the date when I wake up, he adds quietly, just to make sure I know which life I'm in. Lila lets a gentle silence settle. In that pause, you can feel her own thoughts, organized and calm. She has heard pieces of this before from other patients. But Marcus' case is stronger, clearer. He is not mixing up names or times. He is not lost. He just has too much. Marcus, she says softly, I want you to know something before we go on. You are not alone in this. In the past year, we've seen more people with experiences like yours. Not the same cities, not always the same stories, but the same kind of foreign memories. He looks up sharply. His eyes widen, then soften. So I'm not just losing my mind, he says. No, Lila says. Your mind is doing something unusual, but you are not losing it. He leans back a little, shoulders loosening again. Thank you, he says. Lila stands and moves to the reclining chair. If you're ready, I'd like to do a scan, she says. We'll record how your brain behaves when you recall these other memories. You won't feel any pain. You can stop at any time. He nods. Let's do it. She helps him settle into the chair. The cushions adjust to his shape, holding him like soft sand. A curved array drops down from above, made of pale material, like frosted glass. Tiny, gentle sensors slide closer to his scalp, stopping just above his hair. The room grows a little dimmer. The air feels cooler and stiller. Iris, Lila says, prepare high-resolution cognitive mapping. Focus on hippocampal and cortical memory traces. Ready, Iris replies. Lila moves to a console by the wall. You drift with her and above her, watching as the main screen lights up. At first, it shows a simple outline of a human head. Then faint colors appear inside it. Marcus, Lila says, her voice now transferring through a small speaker by his ear. I'd like you to think first about a memory from your childhood here, in Montreal, something clear and happy. If you can. Okay, he says. On the screen, patterns begin to move. Areas near the center of the brain image glow, a little brighter. Lines of color shift and join. I'm thinking about the time my brother and I tried to camp on the roof, Marcus says. We built that terrible tent out of old cloth and garden stakes. It fell down twice before my dad came to help. The colors on the screen swell, forming stable shapes. Lila watches them, calm, noting how familiar they look. She has seen many brains recall childhood like this. The pathways are a kind of gentle maze her eyes know well. Good, she says. Hold that for a moment. She records the pattern. The system saves a baseline image of his normal, personal memory. Now, she says softly, when you're ready, let's move to Vaelus. Take your time. Picture that balcony you mentioned. There is a pause. Then Marcus says, "In there." The screen changes. New colors ignite. The shape of the activity is not random. It is clear, ordered. Another maze, just as neat as the first. Lila's eyes narrow slightly, not in alarm, but in focused interest. "Tell me what you see," she says. "The bay is spread out below me," Marcus says. His voice has a faraway tone now, but it is steady. The water is dark blue. It looks almost black where it meets the structures near the shore. There are tall harvest towers in the distance, drawing up water, and something else, I don't know the word. They're moving slowly, like they're breathing. The patterns on the screen hold steady, glowing with the same strength as when he remembered camping on the roof in Montreal. "Look down at your hands," Lila says. There is another pause. "My hands are smaller," he says. "I'm young, maybe 15. There's a mark here." You watch as his finger lifts, in the real room tracing a point on his left wrist. "A faded burn," he says, "from when I touched the condenser plate on our stove last year. My mother was so scared." The brain image stays stable. The hippocampus, the memory center, lights in sustained waves. The cortex around it forms detailed, repeating patterns. Lila glances at the live data feed on a side panel. Emotional centers show gentle but clear activation. Sensory regions flare in ways that match what he describes. Visual areas, auditory zones, even parts tied to smell and touch. This is not how dreams look, she thinks, and you feel the thought as if it floats in the room with you. Dreams tend to be scattered in the brain, jumping and fading. Trauma flashbacks light up strong fear centers. False memories, planted by suggestion, carry more noise and conflict. What she sees now is different. This looks like any other long-term, well-formed memory. "Marcus," she says, "does this feel like remembering or imagining?" "It feels like going back," he answers at once. "Like revisiting somewhere I know. I don't have to build it. It's already there." On the wall screen, two images now sit side by side. His Montreal childhood memory pattern and his Vaelus memory pattern. To an untrained eye, they might as well be the same kind of thing. To Lila, they look like two chapters from the same book. Different content, same structure. She saves both scans and lets out a slow, careful breath. "Thank you," she says. "You're doing very well. You can rest for a moment." The curve of sensors lifts slightly away from his head, still in place, but less close. The lights in the room gently brighten a shade. "Would you like some water?" she asks. "Yes, please," he says. She gets a clear cup from a small dispenser and hands it to him. He sits up a little and drinks. His hands are a bit steadier now. "So," he says, "after a moment, do I sound like I'm making it all up?" Lila shakes her head. "No," she says simply. "Your brain patterns aren't fake. Whatever this is, your mind has stored it as if it really happened." He leans back again, eyes closing. A tear slides down from the corner of his left eye until it reaches his temple. "Sometimes," he says quietly, "I miss them." "Who?" Lila asks. "My parents from there," he says. "They're not like my parents here. Different names, different faces. But I can feel them. I know how their hugs felt. I know the way my father there laughed at his own jokes, even when we groaned. It hurts because I can't reach them. They don't exist in this world, but they feel as real as my mother and father here." Lila sits in silence, letting his words settle. She has a rule she learned early in her career. Do not tell patients that their feelings are not valid, even if their memories are strange. Feelings are always real, even when the story is not clear. "I believe your feelings," she says, "and I believe that your mind holds those people as real. My job is not to take them away. It's to help you live with them in a way that feels safe." He nods, eyes still closed. "Why is this happening?" he asks. "Is it just stress? Some new disorder?" Lila looks up at the twin images on the screen. 2 lives, lit in color. 2 childhoods, side by side. "We don't know yet," she says honestly. "We're building a larger picture, and your scans will help. Tonight is just the first step." She does not say, "You are part of something new." Not yet. It is too soon. But the thought hums inside her mind, calm and clear. "I'd like to schedule more sessions," she says. "We'll go deeper into those other memories, map them out." "Are you willing to come back?" Marcus opens his eyes and looks at her. "Yes," he says at once. "If there's even a small chance you can make sense of this, I'll do whatever tests you need." Lila smiles, a small warm curve of her lips. "Then we'll work together," she says. She helps him remove the last of the sensors. He stands, stretches, and thanks her again. A nurse from the night team arrives to guide him to a rest area where he can sit with a warm drink before heading home. When he leaves the room, the door slides shut behind him with a soft sound. The room feels even quieter now. On the screen, the 2 sets of brain patterns still glow. Lila stands in front of them, hands lightly crossed, her expression calm but thoughtful. Behind her, you float in the still air, watching the living evidence of a strange truth. There are memories in Marcus' mind that did not grow out of his life here. Iris speaks. "Would you like a preliminary analysis, Dr. Chen?" the system asks. "Yes," she says. Comparison of Montreal memory pattern and Vaelus memory pattern shows similar stability and distribution. Iris says, "There is no sign of random activation. Emotional response levels fall within expected ranges for long-term personal memories. There is no pattern consistent with known false memory generation." In other words, Lila says softly, His brain is treating both lives as real. Correct, Iris replies. Outside, the night aircraft drift by. In other parts of the world, other people are sleeping or lying awake, touching their temples and thinking about places that do not exist on any map. Lila saves the scans and opens a new folder on her tablet. She types a title, 4i Gene Memory Cases Series 3. Under that, she writes, Subject, Marcus Hale. Fully formed, alternative childhood in non-mapped city, Vaelus. She pauses, then adds, Memory as teachers stable. Content internal logic appears self, consistent. Her eyes linger on the word self. How many selves can fit inside a single human life? She does not know yet, but she is ready to find out. You stay with her a moment longer. In the soft blue light of the empty room, as the screen slowly dims and the images of two childhoods fade into the gentle dark. Tonight was the first borrowed life. Soon, others will arrive. The next evening, the city is just as calm. The sky is a deep velvet, black, studded with clear stars. Thin clouds move in slow waves. Lit from below by the quiet towers of light, long aircraft glide between distant hubs, their routes drawn by unseen guidance systems far above the ground. Inside the Hsu Institute, the halls glow in soft tones. In a central lab, a large wall display shows the world as seen from far above. A dark sphere with bright points marking major cities. Some of those points pulse faintly, showing active memory centers linked to the global network. Doctor says, in more peat, some of those pulse to the global network. Lila Chen stands in front of the display, a cup of warm tea cupped between her hands. The steam curls upward and fades into the cool air. Beside her, other specialists sit at low desks rings. Some are neurologists like her, others focus mostly on data analysis or cognitive modeling. All of them speak quietly, careful not to disturb the mood of the room. On the main screen, thin lines start to appear between the bright city points. They look like gentle veins of light, joining continents. Shanghai to Lagos, Sao Paulo to Reykjavik, Mumbai to Vancouver. At the center of the web, the Hsu Institute glows a little brighter. Iris' voice carries through the space, even and clear. New foreign memory case data received from partner clinics in 8 regions. It reports, consolidating patterns. Now, signal. Lila takes a sip of tea, then sets the cup down on a small stand. Her long fingers tap a soft pattern on the glass surface. The system brings up the folder she created the night before. 4i Gene Memory Cases, Series 3. Marcus Hale's scans appear in the corner, along with a short summary of his story. Under his name, there are now 10 more entries, each from people in different parts of the world. A woman in Nairobi who remembers guiding boats through a city built on floating platforms. A teenager in Oslo who sees a sky with 3 small moons. An older man in Tokyo who knows the layout of a library that has never existed on any Earth database. Each case has a small icon showing the quality of their scans. Green circles mean clear, stable patterns. Yellow means partial or noisy data. Most of the new ones are green. Lila breathes in slowly. This is what she had hoped for. Enough cases to form a map. "Good evening, everyone," she says softly to the room. "Let's begin." The others shift their attention to her, then back to their screens. No one stands on a stage here. Work flows sideways, shared through quiet voices and clean data. We're going to lay out all confirmed foreign memories from the last 6 months, Lila says. "I want to see if their content forms a single picture or several separate ones. We're looking for repeated names, landmarks, technologies, and social structures." A tall man with short curly hair raises his hand slightly. His name is Dr. Amir Saleh, a specialist in narrative cognition. "Are we still assuming these are unrelated false constructs?" he asks, not in a challenging way, but as a calm check. "No," Lila says. She speaks plainly. The neural data does not support that. These are structured memories with internal logic. Whether they come from dreams, other lives, or something else, they behave like real experiences in the brain. Let's treat them as such until the data tells us otherwise. Amir nods, accepting this direction without fuss. Iris projects a new layout on the main wall, rows of small boxes, each box labeled with a patient ID and a short note. Patient 3. 07. CO of glass. Patient 3. 1-2 floating distry CTs. Harvest towers. Gradual water darkening. Patient 3. 1-5. Triple moon. Sky. High latitude region. Glass sea mentioned in song. Lila's eyes catch on that word again. Vaelus. Highlight all references to Vaelus, she says. 10 boxes light up at once. She looks more closely. 4 of these cases appear in clinics in North America, 2 in Europe, 1 in East Asia, 3 in coastal Africa. The patients are of different ages, different languages, different faiths. Their real-world lives do not cross. "You're seeing this?" she asks the room. Soft nods move through the small group. "Iris, open a shared board," Lila says. "Place all Vaelus-related memories in a single layer. Align them by internal time, if possible." "Working," Iris replies. On the wall, a new image begins to form. It starts as scattered notes. Harbor balcony facing northeast over Dark Bay Tower, with moving panels. Captures Seabreath Street Market near 3rd Spillway. School complex with open-air lecture rings. Then lines begin to join them. "Look at that," Amir says quietly. The system is matching details. It notices that 3 patients talk about a curved harbor wall with 7 numbered gates. 2 mention gates 3 and 5 as busier than the others. Another describes a tall, leaning tower near gate 7. As these details match, Iris draws a simple map, not in full 3D detail, just basic shapes and labels. A half circle of harbor wall. 7 gates along its length. A bay. A cluster of tall shapes in the distance. Probability that these descriptions are random matches across cases is low, Iris says calmly. Estimated at less than 0.003%. given current data set. So either Amir says they have all seen the same fictional media story and are rebuilding it, or they are all recalling the same real place. Lila finishes. She stands very still, eyes on the growing map. Check cross-reference with all known media, she tells Iris. Global fiction databases, immersive sim catalogs, historical records, urban design manuals. Is there any record of a city named Vaelus with this layout, in this role as a harbor on something called the Sea of Glass? The room waits, quiet and patient. No matching record found, Iris reports. Semantic similarity analysis shows weak links to 23 fictional settings, but none with identical structure or naming. No known virtual experiences align closely enough to explain these overlaps. Lila feels a small shiver pass through her. Not fear, but a kind of clear alertness. It fades into focus. All right, she says. Then we treat Vaelus as a map of an unknown city. She turns to the others. Let's add other repeated terms. Sea of Glass, Harvest Towers, Triple Moons, anything that stands out. The team begins to work. Fingers move gently over surfaces. Quiet voices offer short notes. Patient 315 mentions the Sea of Glass as a northern body of water, says a woman with short blonde hair, Dr. Rena Holm. Songs about it changing color over time. 3 separate patients talk about Harvest Towers. Amir says, tall, segmented structures rising out of the bay. They seem to gather energy or materials from the water and air. Add those, Lila says. More lines appear on the map. Harvest Towers form a loose ring beyond the harbor. A wider area of water gains a name. Sea of Glass. On another part of the wall, Iris starts building a glossary of terms used in the foreign memories. Each term has a small description drawn from all patient accounts. Vaelus. Coastal city. Large population and defense infrastructure. Known for harbor complex and Akanic centers. Sea of Glass. Large body of water. Darkening over time. Possible pollution or material extraction. Significant cultural symbol. Harvest Towers. Tall, moving structures. Pull reserves from sea and air. Sometimes referred to as the lungs. After 2 hours, the basic map looks surprisingly solid. It's like we're reconstructing a city from travel stories, Amir says. Except the travelers have never been there in this world. Lila studies the map. What about time? She asks, do these memories seem to come from the same era, or different points in this city's history? A new pattern appears on the screen. 07 remembers being 15 in Vaelus, when the Harvest Towers were still mostly silver, and the Sea of Glass still reflected the sky clearly. Patient 3. 1-2 recalls being 32 20 years later, by local count, with the towers darkening and the sea turning murkier. Patient 320 describes being old, over 70, walking with a cane near the harbor when the sky has a constant pale haze and the harvest towers move more slowly. The system links these into a rough history. Early, mid, and late periods of the same city's life. Note the environmental changes, says Dr. Home. The sea darkens. The towers shift color and motion. The sky haze increases. It sounds like a slow decline, not a sudden collapse. Lila nods. So we have not just a place, but a story, she says. A city over time. She calls up Marcus Hale's specific memories and adds them to the shared map. His balcony view aligns almost perfectly with 3 other accounts. His age at the time matches the early period of the city's decline. Marcus seemed to remember the first signs of trouble, Lila says quietly. Fog patterns changing. Stronger winds. People talking about the old, clear days. She taps a note into the system. Possible stage 1 environmental shift. You float above her shoulder, watching how the human team and the machine mind of Iris work together. No one rushes. No one tries to jump straight to a final answer. They move like people sorting old photographs, careful and gentle, letting links appear at their own pace. I want to look at the neural side again, Lila says. Iris show composite brain activity for all Vaelus-related memories. The city map shrinks to the corner. In its place appears a layered image of many brains. At once, areas that always light up together during Vaelus recall glow brighter, like a shared path walked by many feet. These patterns are incredibly consistent, says Dr. Task. Home, even across different cultures and languages here. Lila zooms in on the hippocampus region, the key center for forming long-term memories. Notice this, she says. The entry path to these foreign memories is almost always the same general area. It's like there's a preferred doorway. You think something is entering through that path? Amir asks. I don't know yet, she says. Her tone stays gentle, but if these memories came from outside the person's life, there had to be some kind of opening. The brain doesn't normally just grow fully formed, consistent cities and histories from nothing. She saves the composite pattern on another screen. Iris lays out a table that compares the foreign memories with real-life travel memories in other patients. It shows that both types use many of the same brain regions. The difference lies in how they connect to the person's known history. Real travel memories are tied tightly to known friends, real-world dates, and global events. The Vaelus memories, and others like them, sit slightly apart. They touch emotion and sense in the same way, but they do not hook into Earth's news or places. They are islands, Lila says softly. Complete, but separate. The meeting continues into the night. They review more cases. A young woman in Lima remembers studying in a tall, circular hall where professors spoke about gravity behaving slightly differently in past ages. A sailor in Manila recalls working on ships that stayed near the coast of the Sea of Glass, warned never to cross a certain boundary at sea, because the currents there are not ours. A teacher in Warsaw sees children wearing round, thin devices behind their ears that let them share images directly, bypassing any spoken words. On the content board, these details build out a bigger picture. The unknown civilization seems slightly ahead of Earth in some technologies, especially in direct mind-to-mind sharing and long-term climate control systems. At the same time, its environment appears more fragile, slowly damaged by whatever the harvest towers are doing. Any sign that these people knew of us? Amir asks at one point any mention of other realities. Lila checks the search. Iris displays the results. A few patient memories mention stories from their worlds, science, tales of shadow branches of reality, or nearby skies that could never be reached. But these are myths and theories, not clear knowledge. It seems they wondered about neighbors, like we do, Lila says, but there's no sign they had contact with us. At least, not until now. They move on to another kind of pattern, emotional tone. Most of these memories feel calm. Dr. Home says, even when the world is in slow decline, there is sadness, yes, and a sense of loss, but not terror. Not chaos. Maybe that's why they're easy to hold. Lila says our brains accept them more gently because they don't bring sharp trauma with them. A soft chime sounds. The system signals that they have reached the suggested time limit for the main session. It does this not as a strict rule, but as a reminder that human minds need rest too. Let's pause here. Lila tells the team he'll take the next part with a smaller group in Suite B. The others begin to wrap up. Screens dim, people stand, stretch, and speak in low voices as they make their way out. Some head toward the buildings, rest pods to nap before the morning. Others quietly leave for home, stepping out into the gentle city night. You follow Lila as she carries her tablet down a side hall. Suite B is the same place where she met Marcus. The room feels familiar now. The reclining chair, the curved sensors, the warm, low light. It almost seems like the room remembers the stories that have been told inside it. She sits alone for a moment, and you settle near the ceiling. Watching, on her tablet, she opens Marcus' file again and taps in new tags. Linked to Vaelus grid, Ellie stage environmental change, Harbar region. She then opens a file from a patient in Lagos. Patient 312. This woman remembers walking along the sea of glass as an adult, hearing children talk about how old family stories described the water as clear enough to see the bottom. She remembers salty wind carrying a faint metallic taste. Lila places Marco's scan and this woman's scan side by side, matching age, mood, and context. Overlay them, she says. The patterns merge. The result is not perfect, but it is close enough that her breath catches for a second. The same entry regions glow. The same sensory areas pulse with similar timing. We're seeing the same city through different lives, she thinks. You can almost hear the sentence forming in her thoughts. Different people. Same world. Iris, she says aloud, show me the global count. A new window pops up. Confirmed for hygiene memory case. Series 3. 412. Estimated 1 reported case. Base D on sample. Between 3,000 and 8,000 cases are rising slowly but steadily, Iris says. Patterns show no sign of leveling off yet. Demographic spread? Lila asks all ages from 10 to 78. Iris answers. Slight concentration among people with high baseline cognitive stability and no major mental health history. No strong links to any specific culture or location. So this is not targeting any group, Lila says. It's general. She leans back and closes her eyes, letting the data settle in her mind. In your quiet place above her, you can sense her thoughts laying themselves out, calm and careful. People all over Earth are starting to carry pieces of another world story. These pieces are not broken. They hold together, joining with others to form cities, histories, and personal lives that feel complete. Our machines show that these are not simple daydreams. The brain treats them like real experiences. They start from similar entry paths, as if something is coming in through the same small door, again and again. What does that mean? She opens her eyes and stares at the ceiling for a moment. It is smooth and white, with a gentle curve. No answers hide there. Just her own reflection in the tiny shine of the lights. A soft tone sounds from her tablet. A message. It is from Dr. Victor Kane, the older physicist who leads a quiet department at the Central Quantum Observatory. And the Central Quantum Observatory. He is not based in this building, but his work has often touched the edges of Lila's own research. His message is short. Saw your preliminary report on forging memory cases. Quantum Observatory has been recording anomalous data for 18 months. Some of your patient descriptions include numbers and visual patterns that match our readings. Request meeting. Ready to visit your institute or host you here. V. Kane. Lila reads the words twice, then a third time. Numbers and patterns, she murmurs. From our patient's memories, matching observatory data, her heartbeat does not race. It just grows a little stronger for a moment, then settles. She replies simply, Agreed. Come to Hsu Institute tomorrow evening. I'll share our maps. L. Chen. She sends the message and sets the tablet aside. Then she stands and walks over to the curved screen above the chair. Iris, she says, show me a simple composite image of the sea of glass. Based on all patient reports, the dark glass brightens. A new picture forms. It is not perfect, but it holds many shared details. A wide, dark sea stretches out under a sky that looks a little wrong. 2 moons hang low and bright. A third, smaller moon sits farther out. The water is not flat. It has a slow, heavy movement, like oil mixed with waves. Harvest towers rise in the distance, moving with slow, deep motions, their segments folding and unfolding. Along the shore, the curve of Vaelus clings to the land. Lights shine in its towers, softer than Earth's city lights, almost golden. Beside this image, a simple label appears. Where a construct steeped from human host memories, Lila studies it, her face calm. "We are mapping a place our bodies have never visited," she says softly. She closes her eyes for a second, then opens them again and speaks clearly. "Save this as version 1.0 of the Vaelus world map. Tag it for shared viewing with Dr. Victor Kane under secure protocol." Outside, the night carries on, smooth and still. Cars move on silent. Lanes, people sleep in towers and houses under climate-stable domes. The air systems hum gently, holding the temperature at a level that feels like a safe, warm evening forever. Far above the city, in orbit, the Central Quantum Observatory also hums, watching tiny changes in the energy fields of space. It does not announce what it sees, not yet. It just gathers the strange shapes of data and waits for minds like Victor's to make sense of them. Here in the clinic, a softer kind of observatory is watching too. Human memory caught in images of light and color. Two kinds of watching, two kinds of evidence. Soon they will meet. For now, you drift as a silent companion while Lila takes a last, long look at the map of the sea of glass, then dims the screen. She steps out into the hall. The door slides closed behind her. Her footsteps move slowly down the quiet corridor, carrying the weight of a gentle truth. Humanity is building the first careful map of a world that never existed here. The people of Earth are starting to share their minds with another civilization's memories, as if our brains have become a safe shelf where a lost story can rest. You follow her unhurried through the soft light. Tomorrow, an older physicist will arrive with his own strange data. He thinks he has seen evidence that another universe is failing, and that its last light is not in the sky, but in the minds of people like Marcus. Soon, he will sit in this room and watch the sea of glass rise on the screen, and he will say, "I have seen that pattern before." But for now, the lab is quiet, the lights are dim, and the new maps sleep inside the machines, held gently, waiting for the next calm pair of eyes to open them. The day Dr. Ding spy it, the day Dr. opened them, the day Dr. Ding scored test. And now, the priend stond pronow. So the massed reading moved where no. Victor Kane arrives. The sky over the city is a soft gray. Thin clouds lie across the sun like a smooth sheet. The towers still glow with their usual pale light. But everything outside looks a little muted, as if the world has turned its volume down one more step.